All right, here we are with a couple of legends from the 2003 Super Bowl team, the best team in Carolina Panther history by far, no bias. But, man, here Jake comes in, Steve comes in, boy, Al Wallace come in. I had just came off the 1-15 year. Most miserable year of my life. I wanted to go flip burgers after that year. And then we come in and we work hard. That's the hardest training camp ever for me. I don't know about you guys, but down in Spartanburg, I think Foxy, he tried to break everybody. You know what I mean?
I can't say anything about training camp. I'm a quarterback. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, exactly. That's fair. He's the legend from Spartanburg, so he actually did practice.
Yeah, it was easy for him to practice. He had a cheering section
exactly.
every day.
He had a cheering section.
No. I'm from Spartanburg. I grew up in Spartanburg, but I'm not. No, y'all was the hero.
I was not.
You had been a legend in Spartanburg. You forgot I took you out on your visit when you came to Clemson. You had been a legend in South Carolina since high school.
Yeah, right.
But then, the funny story is, Al don't show up to training camp. We don't even know who Al is. Right. We sitting back there, I'm like, man, who this guy with the glasses on? We think he a coach. Yeah. Al got his glasses on. He's sitting on the floor. He's not even sitting in the seat. So I'm looking at Ruck. I'm like, man, who is that? I don't know. And then he comes to the D-line room. Like, oh, I'm Al Wallace. I'm like, where you come from? And then Al was like, man, I was in Philly with Turgo, and then it all just clicked. But getting to the point, that first game, you know how sick I was that first game? Because we had practiced hard. Real. And we was losing. I was like, this can't be. I know, God, I ain't been the best person in the world, but I know I did enough good stuff. You can't do me like this to start the season off. We come at halftime, and then Foxy say, well, we got to make some changes. And the legend of Jake Delhomme is born. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about that. Listen, Rodney Peete, I love him to death. He was a mentor of mine. He was great. And it's funny. Rodney came here to back up Chris Winkie. And then, Wink was coming off the neck injury, and then Rodney played a lot, and he ended up winning, 7 games in 2002. And so we started out that game. It was a little rough, to say the least. And I didn't have a lot of reps with the ones. And, yeah, we knew who Moose was. Everybody knew who Steven was. But according to Washington and Steve Spurrier, you were washed up. Yeah, exactly. So he had the edge. Deshaun was microfracture. Nobody talks about microfracture
Nobody talks about
anymore.
that no more.
He was coming off microfracture.
Yes.
You don't know if Deshaun's ever going to be the same. And they had, Ricky Proehl, he's washed up. And then they have this receiver who everybody thought was a punt returner. Was, in my opinion, one of the baddest man in the planet with the football in his hand. And so I come in there, I don't know no better. I'm young. I'm still extremely wet behind the ears. And we were able to go down, get a touchdown, and our defense was good. We all knew that. Coach Fox knew it. Everybody knew it. And we were lucky enough to battle it out and get a win at the end. And that was the start of our season. I mean, like that was exactly who we were. That game was who we were. Never say die. We're not going to quit. Somebody's making a play at the end. And it's not just offense. It's going to be defense. It's going to be Chris Jenkins. It's going to be something.
Yeah. Something. So what was the feeling like at halftime? Like, I can speak from a defensive perspective. I mean, we watched you practice. We understood who you were coming in the game. And you're down, 17, 14 points. So we know it's going to be an uphill battle. You're going to get your shot. Right. But as a defensive player, can we get some points? Can we get a little bit of help? Of course, we're looking across the field. Our defensive coordinator from 2002, Jack Del Rio's on the other side. So now this is personal for us. So we were excited. We're going to get a new look, a fresh start, and we're hoping 17 was going to run in there and do something.
Yeah, listen, I just came in and, I was able to maybe get a spark, but we had playmakers. I mean, I think that's the thing. This was a team that I came from the Saints, so same division. So 2 years earlier, the Panthers go 1-15. We had to score on a stretch play with Ricky Williams in the corner of this end zone over here in the last play of the game. Carolina beat us up for 59 minutes and 58 seconds. And we got lucky to win. I just think that was a good team that just wasn't unleashed yet. And then Foxy came in and, you draft Pep and those guys start growing up. Dan Morgan's in year 2. Jenkins is in year 2. Smitty's starting to go. And then you add the free agent class, getting Jordan Gross, Will Witherspoon becoming the guy, obviously him, getting Deshaun, and and it clicked. It just clicked.
You bring that up. That when I was in Washington in the 2002 season, and we were scrimmaging, in the preseason, and y'all talk so much junk on defense. I said, man, I want to be a part of that. And being from here, and then seeing Deshaun run off the long run, and just gave Darryl Green the business when Steve Spurrier released me. My first place was to come back home and play for Carolina. And, you know, when you're going into a season, y'all know this, when you're going into a season, you don't know what happened. So that's why you work so hard to get to where we got to at the end of that season.
And I think also that first game, like Jake said, defense was good. The offense had spark, but we found out we could win with special teams because Rod Smart returned a kick for a touchdown, and him and Cooper, they kept the field long for Jacksonville all day with the special team plays. And a lot of people don't give them credit, but that was a spark that we had 3 levels of football that could win a game for us. Blocking kicks, running kicks back, but then also Jake coming in give us a spark. And like we were young, because me, Ruck, Mint, we was all Chris Jenkins, we were all a part of that 1-15 team. And we just like, if we're not gonna be good, we're gonna talk like it. We're gonna be Muhammad Ali. We're gonna talk ourselves into some wins, but then it all just came together because it was almost like a group of misfits, and all of them just fit together to create the great puzzle.
Guys, let's talk about, I know you guys have named Foster. You talked about Rod Smart. I'm in this conversation. A huge part of what we were able to do in 02 and 03 was based on the depth of that team. A lot of the second guys, a lot of the backup guys really helped this team, and that bond, that trust
you hit it.
Big dividends.
I always felt, and I don't think it's this way anymore in the NFL. Look, you're still coaching in the NFL. You know more. But I just thought the preseason used to mean something. And when we destroyed teams in the 3rd and 4th quarter in the preseason because our depth was that good.
And then also, too, man.
And that's what it was. We had depth.
The training camp. I've been part of 2 hard training camps. There was Marty Schottenheimer and John Fox. And hot in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Man, it was hard.
We used to sit there.
It was hard.
And Matt Willett was on the team. A lot of people, and me and Matt played together in San Fran. So Matt was like, let's start a fight, see if John Fox was in the practice. Because he hated fighting, but he wanted us to go. But those were the hardest camps we had. And I think that's what we won, because they used to call it the boys of the summer. Because we were ripped through preseason, and the first 5 or 6 games, you caught hell playing against us. Right. And then we would hit a little low, but then when we caught our second win, and then thank God Fox was a superstitious guy, because you remember it rained and we had to go upstairs and practice, and we won, and then we stayed again. So we did our walkthrough stuff again until no bubble, but we practice. It's total. And I tell people all the time, I think the reason why we were so close, we was forced to be in Spartanburg, staying in a twin bed in a dorm, fighting the mosquitoes in the heat, to walk down that hill and practice. You had to end up liking the guy you were going to, because you had to get yourself through it. It was survival. Yeah. Because at one time, our second D line could have started for at least 20 other teams in the league, and it made you, if you was on that first team, you knew if you did something wrong or you didn't play, you were gonna lose your position.
Y'all did have one. Y'all had a hard time stopping our run game in the preseason.
Who?
In practice?
In practice. Boy, stop.
No.
Boy, stop.
We got y'all good. That's why y'all was so good.
I must have a concussion.
That's why we were good, because of the confidence that we had. Yeah. But you go back to that team, we were really good. I think everybody knows that. But we were a defensive-led football team, and then you started running the ball. And then every week it was just boom, boom, boom. But I'm telling you, and maybe y'all disagree, our turning point, not the turning point, the point where everybody was like, okay, we might need to take this team serious. We played Tampa here. Yeah. You couldn't play. You were hurt.
Yeah.
And we had the lead. Then they made they came back, and we had to win the game without him. Yeah. And you are bell. I mean, it's very simple. You are bell cow. But we had to win it. But the greatest thing, I'll always remember this. We lined up on a 2-minute drive to go down, and it was Carl Hankton, Muhsin Muhammad, Ricky Prohl, Steve Smith, and Nick Goins. Every single one of them caught a pass on that drive. So that's the thing. Okay, well, who's Nick Goins? I'll tell you who Nick Goins is. He's one of the most important people on that football team, on special teams. And I'll tell you, who's our special teams captain? Carl Hankton. Yeah. So that's why we were good. I just think we were, and who's going to make a play? I mean, that was the thing. Yeah. Who's going to be the one to make the play?
But I think also what helped us because even if you were a starter on that team, you had been that backup role, so you respected that role of where them guys, came from. And like you said, Nick, he hate me, Steve,
Hoover,
the son,
Kemp.
Hoover, Kemp
Rasmussen used to run down the field and break his face into somebody on the first kickoff.
The man played the whole season with a broke bone in his neck. He didn't want to stop. He didn't want to stop covering kicks. He had the biggest, ugliest neck roll in the world. But he wanted to play. But you just knew that season was going to be special, just the way we never got this thing. We never got along in practice. Jake didn't like us batting his passes down on Friday.
I hated Friday practice. Like I'm telling you, I never hated Friday practice because we ended on 2-minute drill, and it was talking smack, and they couldn't rush. And Buckner, I hated you because he would never rush. He'd just wait, and right when I go to throw, he'd jump up and he'd bat the ball down, and I'd look, and Foxy with his little crap-eating grin would just kind of laugh and blow his whistle. I was so mad.
And me and Ruck, you couldn't wait because Ruck was like, hey, let's get him. Because they don't call sacks.
Yeah, this is the thing. They won't call sacks, so you beat the offensive lineman. You get there. They keep letting Jake drop back and throw the ball.
And back the ball down, and Ruck would talk, and Jake would get pissed off
so mad.
The whole time. But that was the fun we had, though, because, we fought in practice. We talked trash. But whenever we went somewhere, it was us against the world.
Oh, you don't remember, like, if y'all had to make a stop to win the game or we had to go down to win the game, y'all not sitting on the bench, and we weren't sitting on the bench.
Watching.
Everybody's standing up watching. Here we go. I mean, that's what it was.
Because if you go to the NFC Championship game that year, when Deshaun scored that touchdown, they could have called unsportsmanlike penalty because all of us was out outside the box. Because we were just watching it. But that's how, because I would always remember, Pep never said much. But if a defensive lineman hit you hard, he would also say, oh, that's how it's going to be today. Y'all hit out. He would talk to himself, oh, y'all hitting our quarterback. We got to go get their quarterback. And it was just on, and it was just the perfect chemistry, for that team.
But what I respect about that team was when I came from Washington, and that one game, everybody's memorable. Somebody you had a memorable game.
Yeah.
You had a memorable game in the 03 season, but that Washington game was my memorable game. And when I came, I was like, man, this is totally different. We had a lot of superstars in Washington with Deion Sanders and Bruce Smith and all of them. And it was more individual type stuff. But when I got here, you can tell it was a team. It was everybody bought into the system, bought into what we was trying to do. And Coach Fox did a great job of that. And like I said, the most memorable game for me was Washington getting that winning touchdown. Yes. And during the whole week, I'm sitting there with the media telling me, no, it's not personal, it's not personal. But y'all knew it was a personal.
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely.
My teammates knew it was personal. You know what I mean? First play of the game, I fumbled.
Yep.
But y'all knew it was personal, so y'all said, hey, we got your back, big dog. We got it.
I don't know if you remember that game. I remember because Bruce Smith needed one more sack to break or tie. Some milestone.
Yeah.
And Todd Stussy from practice on a Wednesday, before I said the first play, hey, step up. Hey, step up. And Todd was not going to give up that sack. And so Bruce was trying, and he talked to the refs. But I do remember, I'll never forget this. It was a play toward the end of the game. We had to drive down. And sure enough, we ran the play. It was drive. And I'll never forget, I'm going through, and all of a sudden, you can just, I don't know if you feel, sometimes I feel somebody coming. I could feel somebody coming. And I threw it, and it was to you on a check down.
Yeah.
And you caught it, and you made whoever, I don't know if it was LeVar, whoever it was, you made somebody miss. And you took off. And it kind of it got us to where, all right, now we're in control. We're playing with John Casey's winning it.
Yeah.
And Bruce hit me. And I'll never forget, I felt like I got run over by a car. And he's in it later in his career, and I'm like, what did it feel like if you got hit when he was 26?
Yeah, exactly.
But I just remember that, and it was to you to catch. You made the guy miss, and you got to see him.
Here's my most memorable game, NFC Championship, right? We played the Eagles maybe
in December.
4 weeks prior to that, and we lose. So just go back maybe 2 years prior to that. I'm a Philadelphia Eagle, right? Andy Reid, new head coach. I break my ankle, go through training camp, get cut, got called into the office. Tommy Brazier, I believe, was the defensive line coach, told me that I wasn't good enough. told me that I didn't know if I was a linebacker or a defensive end. I don't know if you belong in the NFL. I got the last laugh on their field that night, 12-degree weather, Donovan McNabb with a cracked rib, and we walk off and head to Houston. So just like Steve, man, you get those payback moments. Those stick with you.
And I remember, we went to Mitchell and Ness. I think it was me, you. It was probably me, you, Deshaun. Buying jerseys, buying throwback jerseys. And we in there, and the fans was just like, "Oh, we getting ready for the Super Bowl," because it was third time is a charm. They're not gonna lose 3 in a row. You know, we got to win, and they just kept on saying, "Well, you know, y'all a down south team, and the weather's gonna get y'all. It's gonna be too cold." So I remember I telling to me, I was like, "Well, if that's the case, Eskimos will walk around in shorts."
Yeah.
You know, if you stand in the cold, and we sat there, and I never forget, we go out there, and this is. Now that I'm old, I like this is the dumbest thing. We go out there pre-game warm up before we come out. And nobody got sleeves on. No sleeves. Vaseline. You know, I'm like, man. First of all, I ain't got the body to do that. I'm like, what was I thinking? It was a cold as I've been before my life.
Oh, it was cold.
Man, I'm so glad that game
was
over with.
cold.
But it was great. And I think the whole combination of it. We couldn't celebrate on their field because they were scared of what their fans were going to do. Yeah. So we had to go to that tiny locker room, and we celebrated with each other because that's how it been the whole year. Yeah. The whole year, because we didn't stand, well, we couldn't beat Dallas because it's Dallas Cowboys. We know you have a good game, Pep get an interception, everything comes. Oh, now we're going to the Rams. They hadn't lost a home game and greatest show, and we really were blowing them out.
We were blowing them out, and we had that whistle, and we had the kick. I mean that. Yeah. You got hurt in the first drive, big run.
Yep. And then Steve, the ex-clown, I guess. Steve ended up scoring. So now we're going to Philadelphia. All week we're here. It's Philadelphia time. Donovan McNabb time. Y'all going to the link. And they're going to do this, and they're going to do that.
But why did we play them? They had the 4th and 24.
Oh,
we were going to host Green Bay.
And
we were going to host Green Bay here.
Freddie Mitchell.
Yes, and he makes the play, and then so we were all kind of like, you got to be kidding me. We got to go to Philly where we're thinking we're hosting in our own stadium. But this is the Philly game to me. We jump on them. When Donovan gets hurt, I knew, Fox knew, our team knew, hey,
it's over.
They can't beat us.
Corey McCoy in there? We're going to get him.
Right whenever they can't beat us. And all I knew was like, do not throw it to any unless they're wide open. Don't give them the ball. They are not doing anything on our defense. But that's how we were. We knew, okay, this is the formula. This is what we're doing.
And they couldn't score on us because Ricky Manning has the greatest game of his life. 3 interceptions. Boom, boom, boom. They was trying to throw the ball to Todd Pinkston. And I was like, and Ricky was just killing them, taking the ball away from them. I'm like, we got these guys. Just don't give them nothing. Don't get it near. Like you said, when Duncan got hurt, I'm like, it's a wrap.
The air went out the stadium.
Well, the thing is, I knew we was going to beat them because we was just running the ball. Me and Deshaun was just running the ball. We threw the ball how many times?
Not many. Once we got on top, we scored the touchdown. We scored the touchdown on Moose's thing. Then after that, we had the lead. He got hurt.
And we just we beat their ass.
We did.
Yes, we did.
We did.
We punished them. And it's so bad because Brian Dawkins is one of my closest friends from college. Like, Dawk was a freshman. I was a senior. Dawk used to come by my apartment. He used to hang out. Dawk didn't even speak to me. It hurt my heart. I was like, Dawk, come on. Dawk would not even speak to me. Rod Hood, none of them would speak to me. But that's the greatest feeling ever, driving through Philly, and you just see everybody walking with their head down. Walking with their head down. But then we get to the Super Bowl. We got to talk about it.
No, we got to talk about it. And listen,
I don't even want to talk about it.
Listen, you know, Tom Brady we knew who Tom was, but that defense.
It was the defense.
It was ridiculous. I'll never forget Dan Henning. I've always said it. Dan Henning told us the week leading up, for 2 weeks leading up to it, he called Bill Belichick Little Billy. He did not say, because they were together for years, he called him Little Billy. And I think that was to put in our mind that it's not this mastermind. I mean, that was just Dan's way. But he said in the meetings, he goes, guys, first quarter, we're not going to be able to run the ball at all on them. Second quarter, they're going to get a little tired. We're going to gain some traction. Long halftime, they're going to recover. Third quarter, it's going to be difficult. Fourth quarter, they're going to get tired, and we're going to win. And I'll never forget, it was late in the first quarter, and he looked at me on the sideline, And he shook his head. Jake, what's going on? What's going on? And I had the best seat in the house. I'd hand off and I could see. And I'm like Steven, Steve, like Ted Washington would do like this.
Richard Seymour.
Willie McGinnis. But it was more Ted
Washington.
I mean,
Mount Washington.
When you try to double team the dude, I see him throw one away and then he can't throw the other way. He threw it away. Like, oh my God. This is gonna be a long day.
I remember Steven saying, I said, hey, just remember what Dan said. And I'm saying to myself, man, I don't know if Dan's right. I don't know if Dan's right. We can't do anything.
And the thing was so crazy about it, I talked to Willie McGinnis about a week ago, and he was like, that's the tiredest I ever been. I'm saying, you tired? We was tired. Because I think both defenses played so much in that first half, it was crazy. Yeah. And to this day, you know, I know everybody said, fans or people like to blame John Casey. I'm like, you cannot blame John, because if it weren't for John Casey, we're not even there. He had won 5 or 6 games that
Indianapolis, the Saints, Washington, Tampa,
Arizona. Yeah, Arizona, because we go to Arizona, Pep got the flu. I think the whole D-line was sick. Everybody was sick, and John Casey, we just needed that win.
And we were struggling. They weren't good, and Richard Williamson almost came unglued at halftime on the offense. I don't know if you remember. He said, this team is not, and we were like, oh my gosh. Yeah. But you go back to, I talked about the Nick Goins, the Kemps. Right before the half, in the Super Bowl, New England tries to squib it. Yeah. Chris Mangum catches it. Yeah. Pays attention, catches it, and goes straight forward. We run, Fox 42 run. Yeah. We got the longest run on New England that year. We kick a field goal right before the half. Yes. Those were the little things. Those were the little things that did.
And that's what I respect about when we came here. Coach Skip, Jim Skipper, he always teach the little things, like going out of bounds with 5 minutes on the clock.
Yes.
In the fourth quarter, stops the clock. You know what I mean? Those little things like that, man. Call a timeout. You know, all that, give yourself up, you know what I mean, stuff like that. And that was important in that game.
That's the things people don't remember. Like, so the play would come in from Mike McCoy, and I'd always kind of look at the sidelines. Well, whenever it was 4 minutes left or the end of a half, whatever it was, Jim Skipper would line up directly behind Mike. And it was just signals. He'd just look at me and he'd go like 2 timeouts left, or 4 minute down. Like 4 minutes, tell everybody down. And he go, no fakes. Just the little things that I'm watching Mike give me something and I'm listening to Skip. There was a reason we were good. Yeah. We had good players, we had good schemes, we had good coaches.
Yeah, we did. And it all came together. And then the added motivation, because when we found out Sam Mills was battling cancer, and he had missed a practice all year. Yeah. No, he gave that speech before that first playoff game. I'm like, man, we can't. Don't nothing hurt on me no more.
If Dallas would have beat us that day, it would have been. We wouldn't play football.
We wouldn't have played no more. We wouldn't have played no more. I just knew if he can come to practice every day after battling chemo and not letting on
and beat us out there,
and beat us, because he would run to practice and run back. And when he said that, I was like, it don't matter what's going on with me right now. Yeah. We finna go get this.
I don't care if they breaking me and put fluid out my knees, out my shoulders. We got to play.
We got to get. That's why I just think it was just special, because the way it came along, like I said, being that 1-15, then we set the tempo the next year. We won toward the end of the year.
Y'all started out 3-0.
Yep.
And y'all lost 7 in a row or something like, or whatever it was. Yeah. But y'all won because I was with the Saints. We had to win 1 out of our last 3 games. Y'all came to play us with nothing to play for, and y'all beat us 10-6. Yep. Rodney Peete just didn't turn the ball over. Y'all had 3 picks, and I'll never forget. And I'm like, this team has nothing to play for, and they're playing their ass off, and we had everything to play for, and it's like we wanted to go home.
And that was Rook coming out, because Rook needed 2 sacks to go to get double digits for the first time in his career, and he ends up getting them. So you just started all seeing it start to grow, and then that next year you just saw the pieces come together, like getting Stephen Davis, getting people,
And
Jay.
And Smitty, that was the breakout.
Smitty started.
That was the receiver breakout.
The birth of Smitty.
Yeah.
Which, like you said,
age 89,
I can say without that, probably arguably the greatest Panther ever played.
I agree with you there. But like, this is what, and I go to my grave saying this. I think he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I'm very bitter that he's not in.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best punt returners I've ever seen in my life. He returned punts for us that year. I mean,
he would just decide.
He helped beat
I'm taking
Tampa.
this one.
Yeah.
He
In that first game.
Tampa and then the Giants. He ran it late in the season. I mean, he was.
Well, starting his rookie year, we go play Minnesota.
Yeah.
They got Chris Carter, Randy Moss. They're loaded. Opening kickoff touchdown, Steve Smith. We win.
Yeah.
Now we ain't win no more rest of the year. But you knew you had something special in Steve Smith. And I liked it because it was not a defensive person in the world that he liked. He had a defensive mentality. You know what I mean? He just come in the stadium mad. He wanted to fight everybody. And he was sort of, like they say, a lot of times the smallest guy on your team shouldn't be your toughest, meanest. But he was the tough because if he started to fight, he knew he had everybody that was going to be there with him. And he came into his own. And I think bringing Ricky Prohl here helped him become a professional because Ricky Prohl was a legend when I got in college. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, we playing Wake Forest there. That's all. We got to cover Ricky Prohl. I'm like, who the hell is Ricky Prohl? And then you go see him, and the way he went by it, and Moose was already coming into his own. But Ricky got Steve Smith to where he needed. We just had weapons galore. And when it clicked, during that season, when it clicked, man, we were just walking in the stadium. We know we're going to win this.
Yeah. You knew Moose was a good receiver. But I just think his physical domination of safeties, that's why teams didn't want to play us. One, our defense is going to slap you in the face, but offensively, you're going to get punched
and
every play.
Both of them blocked, man.
Yeah.
Steve Smith and
Steve because you can hit some. Steve loved to
people
flip
talk
somebody.
about Hines Ward, but Musa and Muhammad might be one of the greatest crack toss blocking wide receivers.
Earlier, man. He hit Ron Williams. Man, I think he broke his nose, bust all his lip in the playoff game on a wineback or something. Man, I'm like, oh my
well, he
God.
got me in practice one day, on a toss crack, and immediately I went over to Reggie Howard and said, hey, if that happens again, I'm killing you. Like, you gotta say something. Yeah. If you see 87 motioning down, please say something. Don't let this man hit me like that in practice. And he was just joking around. He hit me. It felt like an offensive lineman. So this dude was built different.
Dogs, man. They were dogs.
It was crazy, but those are memories, man. That's why I say it because it comes up all the time. Because when I actually was coaching against the 2015 team and we lost the NFC Championship here, Camden blew us out in Arizona. It was a miracle just to see what they got on. I put that 0-3 team against anybody. Any team that came through here, I'm putting it against anybody because it was a team. We didn't have a whole bunch of superstars, but you were gonna have to play for all 60 minutes.
Yeah, it was depth.
And more.
And we were gonna throw them punches. Now we were gonna body blow you to death. Yeah. We're gonna body blow you. We're gonna body blow you to death.
Yeah, that 15 team can't touch us. Man.
No, they can't.
That's
the final word.
And to be honest with you, they shouldn't even put them in the conversation with us.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
It's gonna be a true.
Well, I mean, they was dabbing. We were buzzing heads.
We were buzzing head busters. We some head busters. We'll knock a head out. We some head busters.
All I'm picturing is Deion Grant. Grant, that's all I'm picturing right now.
We had freaks all over. Deion Grant was a freakish safety. Pep, he speaks for the Class 5 mutant. Mark Fields, a healthy Dan Morgan, Chris Jenkins,
Will Witherspoon,
like. It was just all over the place.
He just didn't have
it just rough. You got rough. You got
with the pad on.
There was a pad on his arm.
Yeah.
And then people forget, against Donovan McNabb, we put Gerard Cooper on defense to be. He the one to knock McNabb out the game.
Yeah.
So we just had so many packages. So we just put out there on the field. I love Cam to death. I love Cam to death. He'll DSGB just like I am. But we had a whole bunch of people that would have went and got you, Cam.
Yeah.
Pep, I put Pep against Cam any day. The Clash of the Titans.
Well, he went against one of the best, Mike Vick.
Yes. When that man ran Mike Vick down,
and when he ran him down,
but ran him down, not to pull him down, ran by and jumped into him.
Yeah. Man, we go all day.
We go all day.